glory shone around upon FC Halifax Town. Shimmy! Shimmy! Shimmy!
Again. So, good evening. We're here on the Shaycast. I'm joined in the studio by Tom and Dave Foy, who is, of course, our Shaman Stats. How are we doing, chaps? You okay?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Great.
How are you?
Looking forward to getting this started.
Yeah, it's the first podcast in 4 years. That's crazy, isn't it? We've got a new logo, new video.
Yeah. It looks good, if I may say so myself. A lot of time, a lot of effort's gone into this, but it's what we do, it's what we love, that's why we're here.
Brilliant. And Dave, you pretty much know FC Halifax Town like the back of your hand, really. You've got all the stats and information. How did you kind of get involved with FC Halifax Town then?
It's just pretty much been from birth, obviously the, in inverted commas, old club. And it was simply my dad taking me down to games, and my long-term memory, remembering them being happy memories rather than being like dragged down. And just over the years, it's been that one connection I've been able to keep with my dad. It's the one thing that's a staple of our lives, because we don't, despite the fact we live close to one another, we don't see a lot of one another during the week.
Brilliant. And Tom, how did you get involved? Because you used to do some media work with Brighouse, and then how did you get involved with FC Halifax Town?
Yeah, a big shout out to my cousin Jay. He saw the work that I was doing, obviously, with Brighouse Town, and I think a few people were obviously aware and had seen the work, which had been, lucky enough to be given the opportunity by the manager Bill Powell, and I just took it from there. December 17, I'd never filmed a game.
Really?
So
wow.
I have built this from scratch, and I must say I'm absolutely loving this journey. It was at the start of last season, Kelly had a word with my cousin Jay and basically said, is Tom available to do some work with us? And I did all the highlights behind the scenes, and then this year I've made the jump up, and I couldn't be happier. It's been a fantastic ride with Brighouse, and I still follow them, I still love them, but there's times when you've got to go and you've got to push yourself and try and improve, and that's what I want to do, and that's what I want to help Halifax with. I want to take us to the top.
Yeah, well, we're doing quite well on Shaman TV. I mean, you're pretty much the editor and make all the kind of highlights. And the new cam, pitch-side cam, what was the reception on that one?
It's been fantastic. I can't thank everybody enough for the kind words. It came about as a bit of a fluke, really. Health and safety reasons stopped us from filming. So I wasn't allowed up on the gantry, so I just thought I'd seen some of the up-close footage that we'd done in the past, and I thought, let's bring this back and let's really make a go for it. And I must say I'm really happy with the way that the Maidenhead footage came out. And we had a couple of students down at the game on Tuesday night for the trolley match, and they've done another good job, so you can check those highlights out. They're now out and about on Shaman TV.
Nice little plug there, I like that one. I was just asking, so news bulletin, so I presume Dave has prepared what we've got going on at the club this week?
I have, very much so. So kids' scarves are now available. I'm sure supporters will have been well informed of that pre-season. Every under-12 season ticket that was sold / handed out with an adult season ticket for free. Kids got scarves, and they've been available already previous, and we did manage to shift all of them, which is great news. But they're now also available prior to the Bromley game this Saturday between 1:30 all the way up to kick-off.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and it's also non-league day.
Can't wait.
Against Boreham, so all Premier League season tickets, along with all 72 EFL season ticket holders. If you bring your season ticket card, book, whatever, you can get in for £10. And just to end the news bulletin with a stat.
Oh, of course, we needed a stat in there.
Our 0-0 draw against Chorley on Tuesday was the first 0-0 draw between a town team and their opponents for 21 matches, and that last one was at home to Ebbsfleet United on a cold Tuesday night on the 26th of March.
Another cold Tuesday night. Wow.
Something about these
It was
Tuesdays.
quite chilly.
No, it's an interesting stat actually, because it comes on to our next kind of topic about how we're doing this season, and would you have expected us to be top of the division, considering the pre-season that we had. So what we'll do is we'll cut now to our last match highlights, courtesy of Sherman TV, and then we'll have a little discussion about it.
And we are. Southall plays it straight back to Nathan Clarke in defence, right to Michael Tuckworth, who looks to go long towards Nathan Clarke, straight out, towards Dale Southall. As Irwin looks from the Sanford again, first header won by Clarke, second one won by Blakeman, and Chicago will bring it down into the box. Here's Dodd, shoots straight at Johnson, good save though. Had to get down because Louis Dodds was charging into the 6-yard box. Just let him do it. Cooper, dummies. McAlinden, good curls round the wall, on the foot, bounce just in front of him. Blakeman's going to take the throw quick. And into the box, and Sam Johnson's just going to easily claim that. Johnson goes look from Southwell long. Forces Ross to head it out. Town, can we try and get them forward here, as Charlie aren't quite able just to structure themselves yet from going forward. Bingham Williams, nice 1-2 with Danny Williams across the box. Oh no, one at back. And the edge. Swing across. Oh! It's just there. Was that for Charlie Mack?
Go on here.
Southall. Here's Charlie Cooper. Nolan. Goes to the right hand side here, where McAlinden plays the first time ball to Duckworth. Comes to the box. King. It's a good ball as well. McAlinden trying to get it in on his left foot. He does so. Header there away, I think, from Baines. Out the way as far as McAlinden. He's going to shoot from distance, and it wasn't too far. That catches them out. Liam Nolan drives forward with it. Now with McAlinden on the left. McAlinden's going to try and take Challoner on. Just held up at the touchline. All the way back out to Bingham Williams. Good little bit of play here. Here's Cooper. And now McAlinden's got some space on the left. Gets the ball in.
Oh, got him.
Jamie Allen chests it down into the box. Allen squares it. Here's the road. Bingham Williams shoots. Oh, he's straight at the keeper.
Brilliant. So we're back. So it was a 0-0 draw against Chorley. So what were your thoughts on the game, Tom and Dave?
Charlie did a very professional job on, a very unexpected high-flying Sherman team. 2 banks of defence, basically, with Marcus Carver, a former Town loanee player from the 13-14 season, just isolated, pretty much the only player within Halifax Town's half for the full 90-plus minutes.
It wasn't one for the neutrals, was it? We talk about these games that are fun and exciting for the neutrals. This definitely wasn't. But as Dave said, they've come and they've done a job and they've done it right. We couldn't break them down. It's not like we didn't have the chances. It's not like we didn't have enough of the possession.
No.
We were, up in what I'd say high 70s, 80s possession-wise. But yeah, we just couldn't get through. I thought we did look a lot better when Cameron came on. He's got that. He's just got that thing about him where he can, get in between the gaps and make that little thing happen. But sadly, we just couldn't get that goal.
It's interesting to note that Charlie have stifled a lot of the top half
really?
of the table. Yeah, they've gained a lot of draws recently, and I believe, loosely, I was reading on the forum, that's their 4th clean sheet in a row.
Yeah.
Fourth, wow, okay.
Their
So
4th
you
as
can
well
see
as
why.
our own 3rd.
And I believe the third 0-0 in a row.
Yeah, in a row.
So
Oh, wow,
it
okay.
shows that they have been shoring up that back line because, start of the season they were struggling, weren't they?
Yeah, really struggling. They were chipping goals left, right and centre, so they've obviously now just hoping that they can sort of bob along, getting a point here and there, stifling opposition they know are going to come at them. But yeah, just reiterate what I said. I thought it was a thoroughly professional performance from them in terms of being a defensive team.
Brilliant. And I suppose, with our pre-season, it's quite it was in the news, wasn't it? So what do you kind of think on our... would you expect us to be kind of top of the league at the moment? Would you have said, if it was at pre-season, would you expect us to be top of the league?
Absolutely not.
I think we're all given our right arm to be top of the league at this point. I know there's a lot of talk of don't look at the tables, which, you know, from a professional basis, is what we will do. We'll
Yeah,
carry on.
absolutely.
We'll not look at the table. We'll carry on putting in these professional performances. But yeah, 2 weeks before the season, you know, we're struggling for friendly matches. We lose the boss, and we gain the gaffer. So it's been a complete 360. You know, stopping off at different locations along the way. It was a rough pre-season.
But that first game that Pete Wild was officially in charge for the Oldham game, I don't know if you guys felt the same. There was just something in the air that night, like there was a change in the wind with his management.
There was a lot of rain, I'll tell you that.
There was a lot of rain. There's a man who photographed that game for the website. I know there was a lot of rain. But
I get what you mean, yeah absolutely.
You could just feel like, it's cliched, but like a cloud had almost been lifted. We just gave everything a bit of a go. We got an early goal. Oldham obviously come on to us a bit more as the game went on, but something changed that night, definitely, for the better, of course, as well.
Yeah, and we've gone on from there. And I keep mentioning this word professional, but I think that's what Pete has brought, the gaffer's brought to us, because even the games where we haven't performed, you know, exceptionally well, we've still been getting them results. We've still been getting the goals, and we've still been putting in solid performances. And you know, it's very professional, and I think it's great. I think it's fantastic.
That's a good point, actually. What do you make? Because I remember you were telling me on Twitter, it's the first time in Halifax Town's history where we've scored, is it 8 goals with 8 different scorers?
That's right, at the beginning of the season, yeah.
So we haven't, at the start of the season, we didn't have a goal scorer. It was all spread around. That was quite interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting to flick back through Johnny Maynell's complete history, and he absolutely deserves a name drop, because he's the official club historian. And he is the, in capital letters, Shaymen stats, really.
Right.
I've just sort of took up the mantle more recently.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I just found that quite interesting how, you know, I mean, McAlinden's now got a bit of form and is now our top 7, is now our top scorer. Scored the absolute screamer. I didn't even have a chance to sit down against Maidenhead.
Yeah, Maidenhead on the weekend, wasn't it?
A shot that Grant Holt described as the keeper should be doing better with what was not a great shot.
Well, he won the the goal of the
week.
So
yeah, and I don't think anyone 37 seconds into the game was expecting it.
No, I thought it was a great strike, to be honest. The bounce probably got him the goal more than the power. That's all I'll give Grant Holt, who was speaking to Gabriel Clarke on the Vanarama Highlights show, which is on a sports channel.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we've had 3 quite decent goals. We've got obviously Cameron King with his brilliant effort from, what should we say, 40 yards, just inside the half.
Yeah.
We've also had obviously Liam McAlinden's goal and Nathan Clarke, who's coming on in a minute. So that should be exciting to speak to him about that goal, which was 90-yard screamer, should we say?
I clocked it at 105.
105?
Yeah, he was out of the ground.
Is that an official stat?
Yeah, every time I talk about this goal, I add 5 yards on. So he's now 105. It's gone up from something like 60.
Brilliant. Well, I'm sure we'll be able to have a quick word with him. A long word with him about it. Dave, you've actually brought in a prop today.
I have brought in a prop.
Do you want to talk to us about it? Because this is your kind of 5 minutes. Of,
I would love to talk about it. I won this football. I should maybe give it a bit more context first, actually.
Sure.
I have brought in Lee Gregory's football from when he scored 4 goals in just over an hour against Worcester City at home, which was on the 2nd of March 2013, a game I'm sure many people will remember, and I paid £20 in an auction for it at one of the AFC Halifax benefit nights, who were, of course, the club's supporters team. And that season, Lee Gregory he was just on fire, really. It was in that period, if you remember, Town fans, where he scored something like 4 goals in almost consecutively, and then he got a hat-trick soon after. He went through a real purple patch. And I think it's just viewable on cameras, but for those that are are listening, it's a feeler Blue Square North football that we played with dark blue patches, and yeah, it is available. Highlights of the game are available on a video sharing website that's extremely popular online. So if you searched Halifax 5 Worcester 0, you would find highlights from that particular game. And Worcester we're unbeaten against Worcester, and we've played them 7 times, FA Trophy included, and we've only drawn once, which was the first match that we met in, which was on the 20th of August, and Jamie Vardy, one of his final goals came away at Worcester City. He scored after 10 minutes, and ever since we've just beaten Worcester, and we've only conceded 2 goals in those 6 games, and we've scored 13 in reply. So, I mean, the team that day was Matt Glennon in goal, surprise, surprise. We had Ryan Tulson, who of course was quite popular right back at the time, who he left the Shay season after because he got a big injury against MK Dons. A man who made appearances for the old and new club. Scott McManus, if anyone remembers him. Centre back Liam Hogan, Liam Needham, Mr. Underrated, a bit like Niall Maher at the minute.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Danny Lowe, the second highest FC Halifax Town appearance holder on 204.
I love these stats. I love them. They're amazing. Yeah, brilliant.
Again, the reliable but only did 1 season for Town, Chris Worsley in midfield. Sean Williams. We had on loan Alex Titchener playing that day, a striker that we'd signed on loan from Fleetwood. Dan Gardner.
Yes.
Yeah, what can we say about the man? I mean, he was just a fantastic player 1 minute and then just tripped over his feet the other, I suppose. Right. Obviously, Lee Gregory.
Yeah.
And then as subs was on loan Adriano Moke.
Wow, yeah.
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 I mean, these are players I would forget about personally if I could record them. He made 13 appearances for Town.
Sure.
A guy called Matt Pearson. If anyone can remember Matt Pearson.
To be fair, I think you know a lot about this game than we do. That's why it's your 5
now
minutes.
Now Championship Luton Town, of
I was
course.
going to say not as in Matty Pearson.
Yeah,
I do remember.
Pearson,
Yeah.
We signed
with his
him
skinhead.
I think he'd just come from Blackburn Rovers, just been released by Blackburn.
Right.
And then young Alex Johnson, who was a playoff semi-final hero versus Guiseley that season.
Brilliant. So just shortly, why is this game so important to you then? Obviously it's Worcester, we haven't lost against them at all. So.
No, we haven't. It's just important because it was the first game I'd ever seen a player score 4 goals in for Halifax Town.
Oh, okay.
You know, we're not a club renowned for, shall we say, success over the past decade since they were formed, and to actually own a piece of, it's priceless to me. I mean, I know I've told you what price I paid for it, but to me it is priceless. You know, I can see it every day. It's not. I haven't hidden it. I haven't hidden it away. When I wake up in the morning, I can see where it is. It's on top of my wardrobe and it's faced, so I can see Lee Gregory's autograph, and I can see. He's also wrote on it versus Worcester City 5-0. So I'll never ever forget the day or what the score were or anything like that. And it's just nice to actually own a piece of the history. Some people dig up turf when teams move grounds, and that's something that don't need a plant pot.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Brilliant. So that's really nice to hear actually. A bit of memorabilia for yourself. Tom, do you have any memorabilia at all? I mean, any cameras that have been dug up or?
I wouldn't say so. No, I just have a lot of fond memories of Halifax Town. The main memory is the 1997-98 season. I was dragged up a Liverpool fan by my father.
We'll leave that one there.
But I was going down to the Shay quite a lot that season. Stood at the back of the North stand with my coffee and my Kit Kat junkies.
The proper big, we're talking proper.
That's it. Dip them in. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyway, regardless. Jeff Horsfield that season was just unplayable. And the following season, he moved to my now beloved Fulham. So I followed him from Halifax to Fulham, said to my dad, do I have to support Liverpool? Can I choose my own team? He said, go for it, son. It's your life, you do what you want. I'm now looking at the tables and I'm wondering whether it was the right decision. But no, I absolutely love Fulham, and it's all thanks to Jeff and the Shay men for leading me there. But Halifax they're always close to your heart. They're my hometown team, so that I've grown up every weekend watching what they do. So nothing memorabilia for me, but just memories close to my heart.
Still got memories. Brilliant.
Kevin Keegan signed him at Fulham.
That's right.
He was manager at Fulham when they were in what is now League One.
It looks like you're not just shaman stats, you just stats, football stats.
He's one of Halifax Town's greatest ever players. He left for £350,000, which was a lot of money, obviously 21 years ago now. His final goal came against another team which are doing a lot better than Halifax at the minute in a 2-0 win at Boothry Park, which was the home of Hull City at that time.
Right. Brilliant.
Just-
Talking of... Oh,
I was just going to say, just going to drop another quick stat there.
Go for it.
Jeff Horsfield, the highest fee received
Yes,
for a Halifax Town player.
yeah,
How much was that? Dare I ask?
350,000.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty high then for
Yeah,
them.
It will have been eclipsed by Jamie Vardy now, but that
Right.
was due to add-ons pushing it over. He left for, I think it was about £250,000.
Brilliant.
As did Lee Gregory, who I mentioned earlier, who went to Millwall. That was.
Yeah.
I know the club's always played its cards quite close to its chest when it's come to transfer fees, but I seem to recall they both left for roughly £250,000 each.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Just speaking of Halifax born, we do have our experienced defender outside, so ready to come in. So we'll just watch his absolute epic goal against Ebbsfleet. So at that time, I spilt my coffee. Tom and Lewis went a bit mad on the commentary. No, it was just an epic goal. So we'll be right back.
Go on, we'll take our time. Make a brew, Clarke. Don't rush it. Can safely say it's going to be a better 4-hour drive. Oh, he's gone for it! Clarke scored! Clarke scored from his own half! Clarke scored a free kick from his own half! He wasn't even in the centre of the circle! Unbelievable scene! That smells off his line! Oh, it's better than the free kick was! Nathan Clarke, why have you tried that? It's too late! Oh my days, go on, Clarke! I mean, he scores a fair few with his head. I think that'll be the best in his career. He's been a footballer for a very, very long time, Nathan Clarke, and that'll be the best goal he's ever scored.
So we are joined in the studio with none other than Nathan Clarke, and obviously we've just watched that 90-yard screamer. So Nathan, you know that goal, did you actually mean it, that shot?
Yeah, quite a lot of people have asked me that. Yeah, I meant it. Luckily for me, it was perfect timing. Everything just seemed to work out well, and the opportunity was there. The opportunity, in fact, was there a couple of times in the first half. Didn't want to get too carried away, but with us already winning the game, and I asked the referee how long left. I think there was a minute or so left on the clock, so yeah, I spoke to a few of the lads, and yeah, just went for it. And luckily for me, it was everything just came off right, and thankfully for me, it went in the back of the net.
Got it straight away. Well, how many goals is that then for Nathan Clarke?
I'm going to ask him that question.
Oh, you're going to get him that question. All right, I'll let you go in there then, Dave.
Yeah.
Ask away.
Do you know how many goals you've scored for Halifax Town?
I think, is it 7?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it is,
yeah,
yeah.
5 last season, a bit of a record for me really, that in one season. So I was delighted with that, and 2 at the moment, so hopefully a few more to follow.
Do you know how many apps you've made? As a guesstimate.
Yeah, probably is it around 70-ish, something like that.
Wow, that's close. 69.
69, right, cool.
Every second of every minute
Yeah,
of
it's
every
something-
game.
Yeah, it's something that I'm very, very proud of. Obviously, you need a little bit of luck in there as well, but yeah, delighted to have probably proved a few people wrong as regards to sort of my age and things like
Yeah.
that. But no, I felt really good and felt comfortable. So that's a real positive for me.
Brilliant. I was just going to mention that. So you began your at the Huddersfield Academy,
Yeah.
And you made your debut at 17 against Stoke City. So when did you kind of know you were going to become a professional footballer?
I guess, I mean, it was very early stages for me. I was 9 years old, got scouted at the Shay,
Oh, really?
believe it or not, from the Huddersfield Scout. And yeah, it was just a case that I had really good mates who were good footballers as well. I wasn't fantastic myself, but got dragged along, I guess, and luckily for me, was in the right place at the right time in certain times. And yeah, just every stage managed to sort of tick off. And then before you know it, you're leaving school and starting an apprenticeship, which I did. And I was in and around the first team training, which was a massive plus for anyone just leaving school. And luckily for me, got the call up from Lou Macari. which was fantastic.
Brilliant. And so, like, when did you know you're going to become like a centre back or a defender, or were you preferred to be up front, or?
Yeah, I was normally a right back my early stages, but I guess 1 or 2 growth spurts later, you get pushed to centre half, and really focused on that position really, and had some fantastic coaches that spoke to me throughout, and you end up obviously watching the centre halves and how they go about their business, and yeah, just some position that I've adopted hopefully quite well.
Brilliant. And like I say, so you won the Division 3 playoffs. I remember watching that game. You also won the EFL with EFL Cup with Leyton Orient, and also you scored that 105-yard screamer, as you said.
Now.
110. So basically, what's been the kind of highlight of your career so far?
Obviously, my debut was fantastic. Luckily for me, my dad got wind of it quite close to kick-off and made the trip to Stoke to come and be in the crowd and watch that first game. But again, just a bit of a whirlwind really. That it was a case of the team got named at the stadium, and I was involved. It very rarely happens like that. Teams work on set pieces and whatnot throughout the week building up, so you get a general gist of whether you're going to be in the team or not. So that was one shock, and it probably worked out quite well for me really, that the surprise and not knowing, possibly not sleeping the night before and things like that. So yeah, that was a massive highlight, leading Leyton Orient out at Wembley in the playoffs. Obviously it wasn't the right result, but the experience building up to that was fantastic. The interviews, the photography, the shoots and things like that, just everything that came with that day was really good.
Brilliant. And I suppose we've got a few new players getting involved in the youth team setup.
Yep.
So and obviously you're one of the most experienced in the team, if not the most experienced. What kind of advice would you give to these kind of new players that might want to move up and become a Shayman?
Yeah, I think just to initially you need to enjoy what you're doing. I think you need to enjoy coming in to train and train hard. Otherwise you're in the wrong place, and you're never going to really dedicate your time and your efforts to that particular job, whether it be football or not. It's any walk of life. I think you need to enjoy going into work. But certainly in football it's a massive plus to come in and have a smile on your face, to work hard and enjoy that part of football. There's a lot of unseen things that go on in football, but what you do see on a match day, hopefully that comes to the forefront, and young players can certainly learn from the experienced players that have been there and done that. And it's a lot of long days in the gym, working hard and making sure your body's ready for what comes on a match day. So
just talk to us through like a week before a match day. So you've got training, is it 3 times a week, I believe?
Yeah, so more often than not, just depending on games and how the setup is, we would be in on the Tuesday for a full day's training, and that would be generally, we've got some early birds who we try and miss the traffic in the morning, and getting round about 8 o'clock-ish. Have some breakfast and then make our way up to the gym to prepare. We've got probably roughly about an hour and a half before training starts, and that would be whether you need rubs, strap-ins to see the physio, or whether you need to top up your fitness, with it be weights or the bike. We're very lucky in the fact that we've got the facilities up there to go and do that, so that's it's a massive plus for a club. You're up training, you're getting ready, prepared for training, and then roughly around 9:45, we're out on the pitches. Lads normally go out a little bit before and have a little bit of a knockabout, making sure they're ready for the day, and then ready to listen to the instructions of the manager.
The gaffer, yeah. I suppose you said, do you still have that excitement then from your debut, and then as soon as you get on the field, you still have that kind of...
Yeah, I do personally, yeah. I think it's an exciting job to be in, isn't it? It's every lad's dream, every girl's dream now, to go out and be a professional footballer, and we're lucky enough that we've got that. It's not a time to be wasted, it's a time to learn and time to grow as players, whether you're young or old. And certainly in my position now, I'm still loving it like I was back in the day, going out with the lads at Huddersfield.
Brilliant. And you kind of mentioned that you're, because you're now the temporary skipper, should I say.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Because you're a local lad, you know, you're from Halifax, and you're playing for your own club.
Yeah.
You know, how does that feel?
It's massive, yeah. It's brilliant for me. I'm really pleased. Like I've always said in every interview I've done, anything I can do to help the club move forward is something that was one of my main aims of coming back to the club. You know, and I know obviously many fans might not agree with me here, but Jamie Fullerton was a big part of that. He wanted me to come in and help promote the club and help move the club forward, and it was something that, you know, I've enjoyed doing. And like I said, in plenty of interviews, I'm seeing school friends and family friends that I've not seen in a while, and it's really nice.
I don't think anyone can really deny the structure that Jamie Fullerton put in place, because the backbone of this team that's doing so well at the minute are Jamie's signings, yourself, Josh Staunton, Cameron King, the players that Jamie Fullerton brought in. He laid down the foundations, and I from visiting and knowing fans' views, I think that's starting to filter through now. There is an appreciation for what Jamie Fullerton did in making our transition from part-time to this full-time model that we now enjoy with the gym, as you've mentioned. I mean, that sounds a fantastic setup.
It is. It's a brilliant setup, and we've, you know, very fortunate. I've been at many clubs and know teammates in clubs who haven't got them facilities, and it's a massive plus for him that the work that's gone on behind the scenes that probably the fans initially didn't see. You know, is, like you said there, come to the forefront, and you know, he's getting the recognition that probably he does deserve, I guess.
Brilliant. And I suppose, so you've been a professional footballer in terms of playing for Huddersfield and Leyton Orient.
Yep.
What's the kind of main difference between kind of playing for the Football League and playing in the non-league system?
Not too much, to be honest. If I'm truth be told, possibly earlier on in, you know, my career, probably would have been a bigger jump. But now certainly not. I think the standard's very high. I think the certainly the aggression is top right up there. It's you know, it's an aggressive league, full-on league, and you know, I've said to many teammates and friends that there isn't, you know, too much difference, to be honest. I think the quality, obviously, in strikers, I guess, is one of the main things, and that's why they go for the big bucks, I guess, don't they? They only need one or two chances to get the goals, whereas possibly in this league it might be a little bit different. But yeah, other than that, I think it's very, very minimal, and I think, you know, certain players that I'm playing with now would make that step up easily.
Brilliant. Tom, I believe we'll bring you in. I believe you got some questions as well.
Yeah, I just got one that I thought might be quite an interesting question for you, Nathan. We've obviously been speaking about the career that you've had. You'll have played with and against some amazing players. But what I'd like to ask is, if you could partner anybody at the back, past or present, who would it be and why?
Possibly, I mean, growing up, obviously Tony Adams for me was probably the main man, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, character off the field as well.
Yeah.
That would have been, you know, a fantastic era, I guess, to be involved in. He certainly run the roost, didn't he, at Arsenal? You know, some of the stories coming out of back in the day, you know, obviously sound a bit far-fetched, but, you know, would have been amazing to be involved in. You know, that dressing room seemed right up there with the best, I guess. So yeah, possibly Tony Adams, I would think. Yeah,
and forgive me for asking this, but have you partnered your brother, and would you like to?
We have, yeah. Me and Tom have played together. We've had quite a few games at Huddersfield back in the day.
Yeah.
Really enjoyable. Obviously, Tom, you know, again has had a really good career and doing really well at Preston. But yeah, his early days coming through, he battled through a lot of knee injuries and things like that, and you know, big injuries, and he's come out the back of that and done really well for himself. But yeah, me and Tom played quite a few times at Huddersfield. Obviously Tom can play in various positions, and that's one of his strengths. And yeah, it was fairly weird, obviously, looking out for your little brother, but you know, Tom's a big lad and, you know, can handle himself, and, you know, took to it very quickly.
Yeah.
We had him on loan.
Yeah.
Actually, mid-millennium. I think we had him for a month, so that would have been one of the recovering injuries. And
Yeah.
interestingly, you've both scored on debut for Halifax Town.
Right.
So
Oh, wow.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice
I love
little
these
accolade, isn't
information.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I
he's, I,
remember
mean,
it.
he's,
Yeah.
I remember him coming to Halifax, and again, it's, you know, he has great things to say. I think it was only a month, wasn't it?
It
But
was only a month
he
under
loved,
Chris
you know,
Wilder.
loved it. Yeah, it was Chris Wilder, wasn't it, that
Yeah.
brought him here. So yeah, again, it's our local club, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it's anything you can do to help and, you know, play for the club. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a good point, actually. So with your brother, did you kind of have a bit of friendly rivalry between you know, each other? You know, who should
Yeah,
go where?
100%. Yeah, it was full on back in the day. You know, when we were younger, we were kicking lumps out of each other.
Oh, really?
Unfortunately, I'm sure our parents, you know, weren't too best pleased. But yeah, it was what you did. You know, you could play out till all hours, and
Yeah.
you know, always had a ball with us, and you know, hopefully learning from each other. But sort of growing through, yeah, it was great to play with him, but playing against him was a tough gig as well. You know, he's a good guy, good captain, and you know, it was, when we did play against each other, it was a good always a good match.
Brilliant. And I suppose this season currently we're top of the division, top
Yep.
of the pack. You know, would you have expected us to be here at the moment, or
Possibly not, but you know, why not? I
Yeah.
think, you know, with we said earlier, I think the spine of the team from last season, you know, we had some good times last season. I know obviously we didn't, you know, throughout Christmas, you know, we really struggled, but the core of the group and the identity of that group, you know, is still there, and the guys that have come in have fitted in really well. You know, Brownie's a fantastic captain, and you know, made sure everybody was settled in and knew the score, knew what we were wanting to do this season, and ultimately it's to win football matches, and the best way of doing that is having a really good dressing room. I had it at Leighton Orient. We weren't the best of teams, you know, individually, but as a team we were really good. We had a really good season that time, so you know, why not? Yeah, teams have spent a lot of money in this league, and you know, got some really good individual players, but we always say, you know, be hard to break down as a team, and you've certainly seen that this season.
so that's what you'd say our kind of massive positive we have, because it's so close, tight-knit group.
Yeah, I think that, but within that you've got your individuals who, you know, your Jamie Allens, your Tobys, your Cams, Cam King, you know, you've got players in that team individually who are very good, and like I've said to you earlier, you know, would have no problem in stepping up. You know, we need to keep hold of them, and
Yeah.
you know, moving forward, moving forward. You know, keep getting the best out of them, and you know, hope they can push this club forward. That's what everybody wants.
Brilliant. Have you got any more?
No, I don't think so. It's just great seeing you in a Halifax shirt. I've been a Halifax boy myself.
Right.
I've grown up obviously knowing of yourself,
Yeah.
and I played against your brother.
Right.
I mean, I'm the year above him, but he played for Sorby Bridge
Yeah.
when I was at local rivals Copley.
Oh, right.
So it's good, you know, growing up watching you guys, keeping a close eye on you. Same with obviously John Stead.
Yeah.
So it's just great to have you like at the club,
Good.
and it's great that you're a fantastic gentleman as well. So
Appreciate
it's
that.
nice
Thank
to
you
have
very
you
much.
around.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Dave, do you have anything? Any stats or information?
I think we sort of covered them with Nathan. I mean, it's just to sort of back up what Tom said. It's just, you're obviously a fantastic professional, and you've, could have said, touch wood, you haven't had any injuries or any periods that have kept you out of the team, and that definitely shows. Like Josh Staunton, for instance, this season's not missed a minute of football, and you can tell that you've built that partnership even with the absence of Matty Brown. Just on Matty Brown, what's the dynamic of the changing room? Is it sort of, because yourself and Matty Brown are two of the more experienced heads, are you like do you form like a triangle with Pete Wild and his
Yeah, so
coaching
that's,
team?
I mean, that's something that the manager has brought in. He's wanting advice from the lads, he's wanting feedback from the group, and with me and Brownie, it just seems to work. You know, the manager's really receptive to that, and I think that's it's a massive positive, because not many managers would want that. They want, it's their way and their way only type thing, and certainly that's not the case here. We give our feedback, whether it goes in or not, I'm not too sure, but he seems to understand, and certainly Brownie, can't speak highly enough of him. He's since I've been here, he's been a fantastic captain, and a good mate of mine now, and obviously gutted he's out at the moment, but he's certainly not out of the dressing room. He's in and around, he's always a voice in there, and it's good to be involved. Like I say, the dressing room can win you games, and that's what you've got to try and build within a club. You might be going through a bad time at certain stages of the season, but if you've got a good dressing room, you can sometimes get out the back of them with some good results. But it's not just the older group. Josh, I think Josh 23, 24 years of age. He's a good voice in the dressing room as well. You've got Sam, keeper, who's again a good voice. But certainly the new lads have stepped up, and if there is any issues, any problems, they're more than happy to air them, and I think that's how it has to be. It can't be just the same voices over and over again. I think it's got to be a mix, and if somebody's not happy, we as a group, we need to sort that out.
Brilliant. And I suppose the final question from me is, you've got Boreham Wood on non-league day, so what do you make of them this season, and non-league day coming up? Yeah,
I mean, it's one of them, isn't it? Every team in this league is strong. You can't, just because you can't look at the league table. We've been told not to, and rightly so, because you saw Charlie come the other night, and defended superbly. You wouldn't have said that looking at their league position. They really stuck in and have got some good results out of doing that. I know it probably wasn't the prettiest game to watch, but for them, going back on the coach, they'd have been happy with that. We've got to probably come accustomed to that. Certainly at our place, that teams are going to sit in and defend us, and we've got to think of ways and try and break teams down. So it'll be no different come Saturday. I'm sure they've got some good players, so we've got to be wary of them. But us moving forward and pushing up this league, we've got to be seeing these as good opportunities, certainly our home games.
Brilliant. And I suppose, I don't know if you know, but they've got a new goalkeeper now. The keeper that you loved.
Oh, don't worry, I've been told, yes.
So Stephen Marsden on Twitter, on Facebook, asked, are you going to lob Ashmore from your own half again this Saturday?
I'm sure I'll be getting the chance again, won't I? I mean, look, if the opportunity's there, I'm sure he'll be wary of that now. He's a fantastic keeper. He's had a really good career himself. It was a 1 in a million time shot, wasn't it? And thankfully for me, when it went in, he came up and shook my hand. There was no there was no ill feeling towards that, and it was one of them things. Unfortunately, it had to be him. But like I said to you before, everything just fell right on that day. Yeah. But it's a good move for him, good move for Boreham Wood. So hopefully he has another off day, I guess.
Brilliant. So I think that's everything from my side. Are you?
Yeah, absolutely. Just thank you so much for coming in for the first.
No, and hopefully this is the first of many. I'm sure the lads will come in and help out as much as they can. Like I said, it's a good group of lads, and if we can push this forward as well, then why not?
We have got a few plans to bring some other players in as well, which should be exciting. But as always, from me as well, thank you very much for joining us for the Shaycast.
If I can help any more, then I will do. Not a problem.
And Dave, anything else to finally say?
No, not really. I was hoping to think of something about Boreham Wood off the cuff, but we've just got a mixed bag of results against the Wood. Really, I mean they themselves have been a very up-down team within the league. They've made playoffs. They've been in a playoff final, lost Tranmere a few years ago, and they just survived relegation when we had that fourth final relegation spot in 2016. So they're a very quote-unquote Jekyll and Hyde type team. But as Nathan said, Nathan Ashmore, for me personally, watching him as a fan, he's one of the best goalkeepers in this league, behind, of course, That's that guy that plays
Sam
for
Johnson.
Halifax. That's his name. Yeah.
Of course.
The 7'5" Sam Johnson.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, like I say, Boreham Wood, 3 p.m. at the Shay this Saturday, and we'll have the Shaycast again this Thursday. So that should be interesting. And I believe our guest is, I forgot his name now. Our guest is Pete Wild, the gaffer.
Really?
How did I forget that? Yeah, so it is Pete Wild. So yeah, thank you very much for listening, and come on, you Shayman.
Go on,
Shayman.